As you can see, I'm shooting this sign, Jerona Cafe, Java Cafe, and gifts, and express all kinds of different things in here. And this real nice lady named Mary, and we'll find out her last name as soon as we go in. But she's a really advocate of art. She's helped a lot of artists. As a matter of fact, her establishing a showcase of art here in the community. So we're going to meet her and also find out more about her as we go into the her cafe. You can see it's a real nice structure, kind of in the heart of Cottonwood. As a matter of fact, the post office is across the street. But it's a really nice complex in here, and we're going to go in and talk to her. Everything is kind of artsy. Even her barrel there is real artsy. Anyway, as you inside there, see the restaurant is very nice. They even have a bookshelf over here and read books, buy books. She has a lot of different things in here for the community. It's a cafe besides a bookstore and a community gathering place. She actually lets different groups come in here, art groups come in here, and use a community room for meetings and things like that. But as you can see, there's art all over the place. All kinds of different art. Very nice store. It's pretty well received in the community. But we'll go in here. Show everything in here. As you can see, their community service room back here, everybody comes for the committee meetings, all kinds of different wall art, which is really, really nice of her. As you said before, she's really quite an advocate for different art, you know. And she's quite an artist herself. Been an artist all her life, she said, mentioned, you know. But as you can see a lot of different art in here. It's quite a nice collection. See, that's a showcase of unsold art here. The people have won different shows here in the community, the Elvira group right here. And we'll get more of Mary, find out what her last name is. As you can see, I have a lady in front of me. Her name is Mary Arcus. She's the owner of the Jerona Cafe here in Cottonwood. She's really a nice lady. She showcased a lot of the artists in the community, showcased their art in her store, and which is really, really a nice thing to do. Mary, you've really been an art lover all your life, haven't you?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I'm going to get you to talk a little bit louder, Mary.
Okay.
Okay. And you had mentioned off camera you actually knew you wanted to be an artist at 3 years old, which is pretty
well,
great.
Actually, in the third grade.
In the third grade, you got an art,
yes, is when I started realizing that art is what I wanted to do.
So as you had mentioned off camera also that you had actually done art, and you were one of those fortunate artists that actually could make a living off of it.
Yes.
And that's incredible.
Yeah, I had to make a commitment to it. I did get a degree in art and art education in my 20s, but in my 30s and 40s made living off of doing artwork.
And where did you get your degree?
I got my degree in Kalamazoo, Michigan at Western Michigan University.
So did you always have the dream of having a cafe and showcasing art, or just being part of the art community?
I always had a dream of having a gallery and gift shop, and that's what this building and this location was designed for. It was a gallery gift shop. I had no intentions of opening a cafe, and I have no background in food and beverage. So.
Oh, you're one of those gutsy ladies, huh?
Yeah, well, I kind of changed with what I felt needed to be changed.
Yeah.
And our vision of what we thought was going to happen on Mingus Avenue didn't quite happen. We thought there'd be more tourism coming down Mingus Avenue once they built the bridge.
Oh, did you?
And so since we found out that there wasn't going to be tourism, that it was solely dedicated to Cottonwood residents, we felt that we needed to make it more of a food and beverage place.
So it all worked out okay then?
Absolutely. It's a learning curve, but it's worked out.
Your cafe has a lot of things. What are some of the things you do have to offer in your cafe here?
Well, We have quite a full menu of breakfast items and lunch items, a lot of lunch. We do salads, sandwiches, quesadillas, soups.
Oh, do you?
So, and everything's fresh and good.
And you have a pretty nice
affordable.
clientele, huh?
Absolutely. We have the best regulars, I think, on the planet. Our regulars are wonderful, and we love it. You know, I've got a great staff, and so we have fun doing it.
You know, I always ask everybody, I ended up in the Verde Valley, different kind of circumstances. So how did you find Cottonwood?
Well, it was my husband and I at the time, in the early 90s, we came down here on our first trip down to Arizona and stayed in Flagstaff and of course did the 89A.
Oh yeah?
And the 89A road just was thrilling in my opinion.
So you fell in with the Verde Valley?
We fell in love with the Verde Valley, and the first time we came through from Sedona on 89A and saw this little town in the foothills of the Mingus Mountain, we said, wow, that's the place to live, and that's where we ended up.
And what is your other half's name?
Michael, his last name is Lindyke, but it's Michael Lindyke.
Oh, Michael Land, okay. So did you come up with the design? Are you the creator of this location?
Yes, yeah, we bought the property before they even extended the road, you know, with the bridge. So we bought it with a risk of, you know, what was going to be happening. But then once they did put the bridge in, we felt that it was a pretty safe bet to put a building here.
Yeah. Right.
And we always figured that if the retail part of it, because there's not a lot of retail here, so if the retail part of it didn't go, it would be a good office building or, you know, building for other things.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So I have to ask you, if I let you go here, is so what kind of art were you into?
Well, I've done different things and during different times. I've done graphic designs or graphic freelance and handmade paper as exhibit pieces, pulp paintings. And calligraphy was my focus for many years.
Good.
But then when I started getting into the art fair market, I wanted something that was very capable of producing and marketing and saleable. So I ended up doing artwork on clothing.
Oh, really?
And that was what I did for about 15 years.
And that's how you made your living?
Artwork on clothing. Yes, and I made a fairly good living, and I had a studio. It was very big. I did 35 to 40 art fairs a year.
Oh wow, you're real busy.
And so
lady.
it was every weekend going out and then coming home and producing, and I had a crew, and yeah.
Well, you know, the majority of the artists in the art community, the art world, are starving artists. And
Yes.
do you have any kind of advice to them, or kind of secrets to them, or anything?
I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, we've got blenders going on in the middle of this.
So do you have any kind of advice to artists, or any advice?
Yeah, I do. My biggest advice to artists, and I've always said this when I've been teaching, I've done a lot of teaching also, is that you create art when you have deadlines. So you create your deadlines. Creating deadlines is just as important as creating the art, because otherwise you may not do it.
Might not do it.
So whatever that means, going out there, I mean, if you commit to an art fair 6 months in advance, you're going to make that work. Or if you commit to an exhibit a year in advance, you're going to make that work.
So I want to let you go, Mary, but I want to first ask you, do you have an email address or a phone number you want to give out and invite people to your shop here in the community around the world?
Well, I communicate a lot on email, so if anybody wants to get a hold of me, it's Mary at Jerona, JERONA.com. So that's easy enough.
Well, thank you very much, Mary, and thank you for doing this for the art community. It's really a great thing you're doing for everybody. Thank you. And
this fulfills my dream of having artwork wherever I go. And I'm not doing art right now, but this is wonderful having it around me.
thank you, Mary, and have a great year.
Thank you.